We are urging everyone to avoid travel if possible, stay home, and oh, I'm sorry. That's what
Yeah,
it was.
go ahead and start over. You urge everybody to
Yeah, all right.
be careful and stay home.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
We are urging everyone to stay off the roadways if possible this weekend, avoid travel. Conditions can change rapidly even if roadways have been treated. Your safety is our number one priority, and the safest place for you is off the roads this weekend. So, camp out at home and wait this one out. Now, the timing of this storm might be a little helpful for us because it's happening on the weekend. That means there's no school. A lot of people won't be working. You'll be able to stay home, camp out, wait this one out, and then get back to your regular routine next week. Our crews are on standby, ready for 24-hour operations. They will continue assessing roadway conditions and treating as necessary throughout this storm. We're going to focus on the most heavily traveled roadways in our areas. Think I-35, US 290, out west US 281, up north SH 29. Those roadways, to name a few. We want to make sure that those heavily traveled roadways are passable for those who need them most. That's our first responders. Passable does not mean perfect, and roadway conditions can change instantly. So avoid travel if you can. Any questions?
Yeah, can you?
You want your audio?
So, you talked about like some of the freeways being treated. Are there other major roads across Austin that are going to be treated either now or here across the weekend?
The roadways are a partial list. I want you to think about the most heavily traveled roadways in our areas. Those are priorities. I-35 is a major corridor that runs through all of Texas, so we want to make sure that that roadway is getting the attention it deserves. A lot of emergency responders use that roadway, so there are a number of other roadways that either have been treated or will be treated, and we'll continue to look at those hot spots and roadways as conditions warrant.
The forecast begins with rain, heavy rain. Will the treatment get washed off the road, or how is it going to stick to the roads?
When we put our saltwater solution down, it dries. If you've seen it on the roadway, it looks like pinstripes down the lane of the roadway. That clings to the roadway, so a decent amount of rain is not going to wash that away. We can always retreat if necessary, and we often do during these storms. But when the moisture hits that brine, that activates it. So that's where it helps prevent that liquid that's falling from the sky from freezing.
So when people are out driving, ice is obviously going to be a major concern, and you can see it, but you can't necessarily see it all the time. There's issues with black ice. Can you explain for people who don't drive in winter conditions very often what black ice is and why they have to be careful?
Well, black ice, the reason they call it that is because it's not noticeable on the roadway until your wheels start spinning. So we want people to assume that the roadways are slick and can be dangerous situations out there, right? So know before you go. I'm going to urge everyone once again, do not get on the roadways unless you absolutely have to. But know before you go if you must travel. Go to drivetexas.org, look at the roadway conditions there, and again, when you get out on the roadway, even if you see where it's been treated, you need to use extra caution and slow down because you will run into some slick spots more than likely.
Are there roads that are known issues during ice storms like this? This is certainly not the first one we've had. Are parts of roads like our bridges an issue? What should drivers be aware of when they're out?
Elevated structures, bridges, overpasses are going to freeze first because they don't have the warmth of the ground. And so we tell people that if you must travel, avoid bridges and overpasses if you can. Again, the key this weekend is just stay off the roadways.
If you are out and you do start to slide, what do you do then? Do you slam on the brakes?
Yeah, absolutely not. If you begin to slide, you don't want to slam on the brakes. You want to let off the accelerator. You want to steer in the direction that you want to be going, and you should be traveling slow enough to where your car starts to slow down enough to where you regain traction. I don't recommend being out there.
Now you've got this super structure behind you here. shut those down?
No. So our goal is to keep roadways open if at all possible. And so the bridges and overpasses like the ones you see behind me, those are being pre-treated and they will continue to be treated throughout the storm as conditions warrant.
When does treatment stop? When does treatment stop?
That's a really good question. Treatment never stops. We will be working 24 hours until we're through this storm. So as long as this storm is happening and we have a threat of icy conditions, slick conditions, our crews will be out there treating the roadways.
So those pre-treatments aren't going to just be washed away by the rain. They're actually going to be helped by the rain.
So the pre-treatment goes down as a liquid and then it dries. You'll see those pinstripes that on the roadway. Whenever moisture hits that substance, it activates it. And that's what helps prevent that water, whether it's rain or even sleet, from freezing and sticking to the ground. And so even a light to moderate shower is not going to wash that substance away. But we can and we do retreat on our roadways.
We are a few days out. Do you anticipate any problems for Monday rush hour?
We monitor the forecast very closely. We work with the National Weather Service and we keep our eye on the storm. So we will be monitoring this even if Monday morning rolls around and the moisture has stopped, but we see some of that melting ice that wants to refreeze, some of that moisture wants to refreeze. We will continue treating that so that we can make the roadways as safe as possible for people who need to get back on the road Monday. If conditions change and we see some significant moisture continue into Monday and it's not safe to travel, we would recommend folks not do so.
How do the trucks stay on the road if they're getting on icy conditions, even though they're trying to treat it? How do they stay on the road?
Our trucks are very heavy. They have the weight and the tires and the pre-treatment. They travel at near the speed limit when they're laying this down. When we are treating throughout the storm, we will slow down and we will drive to conditions to make sure that we can continue to treat the roadways.
So have we increased the fleet, the number of vehicles and the amount of salt or chemicals since the 2021 storm?
Yes. So since 2020 and the Uri storm, we have significantly increased our stockpile of materials. That's both the saltwater solution that we make on site, which is brine, and then also magnesium chloride. This is more of a salt that's put down that will melt ice if ice forms. We have increased those stockpiles significantly. We did not run out of materials here in the Austin area during Uri, but we wanted to make sure if we get another storm like that we have plenty of materials on hand. Our equipment is ready to go. We get this stuff ready months in advance of any winter weather so that we are prepared and we can deploy immediately when we get the call.
After the storm is over and you've got all this treatment that's been laid down, is that going to be damaging to automobiles, the frames, the undercarriage?
Typically not. I would recommend that after the storm goes through, if you have been out there driving, that you might want to take the car to the car wash and just wash that off. But typically the damage occurs when it's recurring over and over again. If you're living up north, out east, where you get these winter storms, you have a winter season, let's say, and they're back to back to back to back throughout the season, then that's when it becomes a real problem.
You're going to have some folks who say, I have a four-wheel drive, I'll be fine. Is that true?
Our recommendation for everyone is to stay off the roads unless you absolutely must travel. And so that would be critical personnel, those doctors and nurses, people who, your firefighters that need to get to work, police officers. If you're not in one of those critical roles, we recommend you stay off the roadway, whether you have a two-wheel drive, a four-wheel drive, or any other vehicle.
Can you give us a sense of the extent of the operation in terms of TxDOT equipment, the numbers of the trucks deployed out to the running, for instance?
Here in Central Texas, we have nearly 160 pieces of equipment that we're deploying as we pre-treat the roadways. We have more pieces of equipment that we can put into the fleet if that need arises. We also have our construction contractors. A lot of construction work going on in Central Texas. I'm sure everyone who drives it is familiar with that. Our contractors can also provide us with vehicles and equipment if need be. So we do have the supplies and the equipment that we need to start treatment and to continue treatment throughout this storm.
Is there a certain number on how many trucks you have deployed?
I'm sorry?
Is there a certain number of trucks you have they're going to be deploying?
Nearly 160 pieces of equipment deployed.
I guess last question from myself. Any Texans at this time remember the freeze?
I'm sorry, I'm old and traffic is loud, so let me
perfectly
lean over, like the old man.
The freeze in in 2021. Is there anything you touched on it a bit? Is there anything that you can share with us that TxDOT has done? Lessons you guys have learned that has changed since 2021? Any lessons you guys have learned?
Yeah, so since Uri several years ago, one of the things that we noticed is our supplies. And we wanted to make sure that we had plenty of supplies. Uri was back-to-back storms, right? And we're usually prepared for one good ice storm in Central Texas per season, maybe two, but not back-to-back like Uri. And so one of the things we wanted to make sure that we had was plenty of supplies on hand in case we do get back-to-back storms. So we have increased our supplies significantly over several years. So each year we've boosted the number of supplies that we have on hand. The way we tackle these storms has not changed. There's a couple of ways you can fight ice. One is prevent it from forming, and the other way is to melt it. And so those are the tools that we have to fight this ice storm. We deploy all the resources that we have and need to make sure that we're addressing the roadway conditions. But again, I want to urge everyone to stay off the roads this weekend and throughout this storm unless you absolutely have to travel.
Will TxDOT be pre-treating overnight tonight and Friday night?
Do we know when our pre-treatment is done? We might be done this afternoon.
Hours, but they're pre-treating until Friday night.
Okay, but are they doing it overnight or is it like?
Yeah, typically they don't pre-treat overnight because we can get everything we need to pre-treat done during somewhat normal hours. Once this storm moves through, so Saturday, we'll start on that 24 hours where we are monitoring and treating day and night. Does that make sense?
Yeah, so they've been treating for 3 days, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. And then once the storm hits, they'll start going back and covering the areas that have been affected.
We good?
I want to leave KI up here,
Yeah.
and then I'll have Univision.
Okay. Thank you.
Did you get the questions they were asking? Was that? You said text.
Yeah, I got
All right, cool. I'll let you guys grab your mics.
You want to?
I can